Prince Rupert today. The weather looks okay, not wonderful, but it looks okay. So hopefully we'll make it the whole way. If not, we'll stay at Foggy Bay tonight, but then we'll be stuck there for a couple days. So wish us luck.
Here is the approximate route that we're going to take today from Ketchikan to Prince Rupert. Here is what they refer to as the Dixon entrance to Alaska. As you can see, there's quite a bit of open water, and the weather wasn't great, but our boat did awesome.
It's gale force warnings. We aren't quite sure what this is going to be like. Gonna give it a shot. I had to quit working on my iPad because looking down like that, I start getting sick. Doesn't look too bad right now though. Just scary when they say gale force warnings. But like Scott said on the last trip, gale never showed up. But I don't think we're supposed to be thinking that way. Okay, we're coming around Mary Island. Okay, the gust of winds are getting up to about 20, 25, depending on what's going on. Here's what we are seeing out our window. And the interesting thing is, these feel worse than some of the other waves that we've been in because they aren't following. They're coming at us. And that makes a big difference in comfort level. It's pretty hard to actually get around the boat right now.
At this point in time, we're not only trying to get to someplace, we are also trying to figure out what we're comfortable with on the boat and what we're not comfortable with. We had 7 to 8 foot seas at some periods during the day. The seas were south to southeast winds. They were 15 to 20 knots, and they were head sea, not a following sea, which made quite a bit of difference. At no time during the day did I feel unsafe.
I feel a little bit better that we're not the only boat out here. We have one almost right next to us, then we've got one coming at us. We're coming into Prince Rupert. A little darker than we planned on coming into it. We went against the current all day today, and it took probably 3 hours longer than it took us to get from here to Ketchikan earlier this spring. So we are going to go try to find our dock.
It took us 14 hours to get from Ketchikan to Prince Rupert, as opposed to the 11.75 hours it took going north. We got in really late, so we ended up speaking with the East Coast Customs officers, not the local customs officers. The customs official told us to untie and either go to the lightering dock or anchor within 50 feet of the other marina. We had quite the debate with the East Coast Canadian customs guy on whether the lightering dock was still available for customs check-in. So this morning I set out to see what it looked like. There doesn't appear to be access, but maybe this dock.
Yep, that dock's a private dock. Here's the other dock that we could go to call in. Unfortunately, it was totally full last night. And the solution was to go anchor within 50 feet of this marina and call in. So that's what we did. So the dock on the left is Cow Bay Marina, the one that we were supposed to go to and anchor up within 50 feet. And there on the right, you see the Havaseas.
We decided it was not a good idea to argue with the customs guys.
Life is always interesting. This is the Prince Rupert Rowing and Yacht Club. And the Havaseas is right over there. They have been wonderful. Kevin, the harbor master, came and helped us tie up our lines last night, when it was dark. and made sure that we were all set, and he helped us get through customs. So he didn't leave till probably 11:30 at night, just to make sure that we were okay and all set up. So we really appreciate it and would definitely recommend coming here. I feel a little guilty about not going down to Prince Rupert and seeing the town, but I have no need to buy anything. I have all of our fridge and freezers stocked full, and what I really needed was a little electricity. So today I spent the day making cookies, and I did all of our laundry. I can do laundry when we're not plugged into electricity, but then we have to run the generator. So when we do get to where we're plugged in, I like to get as much laundry done as possible so that we don't have to run the generator as much. We thought about going out to eat, but we have halibut here, and Eric's deep fried halibut has been better than most of the other restaurants, so we are just staying in.
We're kind of homebodies, which is why this lifestyle suits us really well. It's dark and rainy outside, but we're nice and cozy inside with our diesel heater. It's morning and we are recharged now that we had a day off to just relax and putz, and so we're off to check out Prince Rupert. Here's a quick view of the Prince Rupert Rowing and Yacht Club.
Here's a bridge that you walk across to get from the yacht club over to some really cute stores. There's a pub overlooking the harbor.
The pathway, which crosses over the tidal area between cappuccinos, was created in the spring of 2016. Cappuccinos is the home of the Yacht Be Gone.
That's across the waterfront, but this is the historical area. Historic Cow Bay. Right here, there's a coffee house. It's Labor Day weekend. Some people are taking the weekend off, I think. Oh, look at that cute, there's an actual telephone. Wow. Friends of ours says that this Oppa sushi is really good. It has rained the whole time we've been here, but we are in the Pacific Northwest. And here's Dolly's Fish Market. They will either cook you a meal or you can buy the fish and take it home. The same friend said that we should try the gluten-free deep fried halibut. Spirits of Cow Bay. And here is Rupert Meats. Highly recommend that. We went in there, Eric got a steak. We got some pepperoni. They have different kinds. Some of this other jerky. Lots of cheeses. It was a pretty cool place. Oh, and some stuffed chicken breasts.
Rupert Meats is a family-owned and operated small business in Prince Rupert.
Seasport Place across the road. A pizza place. This is the entrance to the Sunken Garden.
The Prince Rupert Sunken Gardens are a heritage garden with spectacular displays of colorful lush flowers, shrubs, and trees for all to enjoy. I bet a lot of prom pictures are taken here.
We just went by the Prince Rupert meat shop and got, what are those things called?
Rupert meat spicy chili bites.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
And I just got pepperoni with cheese. Within just a few blocks of the boat, there's a Safeway with a pharmacy and a BC liquor store. Easy walking distance. There's also a Walmart further up this road. Pacific Mariners Memorial Park. And as you walk along the waterway, they've got a whole memorial wall. There's a whole walkway along the shore here. There's where the missing dock would be.
As you can tell, I was quite traumatized by that customs experience.
And heading back to the marinas. And there's the Wheelhouse Brewery. And this is the Ice House Gallery. This is an artist cooperative since 2004, and this is where the local artists sell their art. A nice little boutique, but I'm not allowed to buy any more clothes. And another little seafood cafe. Living on the water is good if you like seafood. Okay, this is Kevin, and he runs Prince Rupert Rowing and Yacht Club. And he's going to tell us a little bit about his setup here.
Well, we like transient travelers that come through. The club itself, the yacht club itself, is a private club, but we do accept, in our marina, we accept travelers coming north and travelers heading south. We've had people come from all over the world, and we've had them from Australia, New Zealand, Italy, plus people throughout the lower 49. We've got about 80 berths here, and then we have a bunch of linear. This particular boat here, Havaseas, a 56-foot Nordhavn. They're on one of our linear parking. So with linear parking is nice because we can fit a lot more boats of different sizes and everything else into it. At the facility here, we've got a 30 amp shore power, 120 volt, and 50 amp 240. Talking to the captain earlier, he was quite happy that on his house gauges on his distribution panel, 236 volts. Perfect.
It was wonderful. It was the first time I've had full electricity since we left the lower 48.
Well, we've done a bunch of upgrades in the at the club here. We always welcome the travelers. We're kind of uniquely located here in Cow Bay district of Port Ed, or off Prince Rupert, just north of Port Ed, and we're right beside the only fuel dock in the on the north coast, and that's Northwest Petrofuels. There's two ways to get into the harbor. One, the main channel as you're coming up from Digby Island. The other is an area called Ven Pass. You kind of come through into it. Look at your charts. It's a real nice way to get through here. It cuts about an hour and a half off of the trip. Havaseas, they had they decided err on the side of caution, so they went all the way around Digby Island.
We'll try it when there's daylight.
Absolutely, that's the smart way to go. Yeah, we have a summertime staff, university students that come in and they work with us. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is the service that we offer people. You hail us on BHF 73. We do take reservations through our central reservation system. We've had boats up to 160 feet here. We've had some other super yachts that have come in that have extended their stay with us for up to 9 days. So it's yeah, it gets interesting in here. So with our staff, they'll catch your lines because you've never been here before. So we want to make sure that we can make your stay as memorable as possible. Yeah, so like I say, we're kind of having some fun. The building, our new clubhouse, has been recently completed. We have our main office on the lower section, and then there's another suite upstairs. We have a 40-slip paved parking lot for our members. We have a 24-hour security gate. All guests, as Havaseas and some of the other larger ones that have been around, everyone gets their own personal security code. So it's nice because we can reactivate the code 24 hours before your expected arrival, so that if you do happen to get in a little bit late, like somebody did, they're not stuck on the boat. They can get ashore. We are known as a Canadian Border Services clearance center. There is a little bit of things that are going through with that. The local detachment here has their own access code to the gate, so they can come through and they can clear you at our docks, as well as one of the other docks a little further down the harbor. The old lightering dock that some people might remember is no longer around. It's been decommissioned by the port, so it's kind of difficult. People are looking for the lightering dock, but you can get cleared here. That's not a problem. And all the water on the dock is all potable. Yeah, it's kind of a fun little town. We have a lot of unique businesses here. A lot of local artisans that have some unique carvings and jewelry and things like that in the Atlan terminal. Yeah, it's
And you have a lot of knowledge in this area because you've been helping us figure out where we want to go next, where we may not have explored if you hadn't talked to us.
well, that's the one thing about it, is that we often refer to the Grenville Channel as the highway, or people south of 48, the interstate. A lot of traffic goes up and down the Grenville Channel. It's a nice run to make. There's a lot of traffic there, but there's all kinds of other little back channels and other ways you can go down. Some of our more favorable areas are when you're coming out of Prince Rupert heading south. You can go down the Ogden Channel into a place like Captain's Cove and down Petrel. You're not in open water, but you got a lot more places to see and do, and there's lots of little anchorages tucked in there. And then heading north, it's the same thing. You've got other areas up on the west side of Chatham Sound. There's unique little spots in there, little hidey holes. If it is blowing a little bit, you can kind of tuck in there.
Yeah, and you were very helpful helping us figure out where we might want to go.
Absolutely. Well, we want to make sure that it's memorable, and we want to make sure that you've just had a little taste of what the North Coast hospitality is like, because we are hoping we can encourage you to come back.
Well, we will.
Perfect. Like the sound of that.
Okay.
We're leaving Prince Rupert and we're heading down to Hunt Bay. Kevin recommended it. We were a little nervous about it on the way north, but now that we've spoke with Kevin about it, we want to try it. He has a family cabin down there. I think it's more of a house. The Port of Prince Rupert has the deepest natural harbor in North America, is ice-free year-round, and is able to accommodate the largest vessels in the shipping trade. The Port of Prince Rupert is the closest North American West Coast port to Asia, 500 nautical miles closer than any other port in the Pacific Northwest. It can save up to 60 hours of sailing time. Prince Rupert was the continent's first purpose-built ship-to-rail container terminal, and they continue to lead the way in supply chain innovation for their customers. The on-dock rail allows containers to move as soon as they're unloaded. This translates to industry-leading dwell times, which are among the lowest on the West Coast. It is a bit intimidating when you come into Prince Rupert Harbor, but it's easily navigated around.
We're headed into Hunt Inlet on the north end of Porcher Island.
Hunt Inlet is a collection of older buildings grouped around a government dock, with more recent addition of a number of vacation homes built by Prince Rupert residents.
Is that a houseboat?
It's the boat that's on floats. It's up on the beach. It's now high and dry.
You're liking that beef jerky, aren't you? Yep.
Kevin was explaining to us that the houses would use VHS to communicate. And since they didn't want to use their boat name as their call sign, they had the different call sign for their house. His family's house was known as the Red Top House.
So we're headed through this narrow piece. Eric has his forward-facing sonar on. And this is what we see out the windows. We're going through this very shallow area.
It is always easier going into Anchorage the second time. I'm hoping by showing what we're experiencing, it might help future boaters.
Feels better once you talk to somebody about this plan before you just go in, huh? Yeah, I had spotted this on our way up to Southeast Alaska, and we weren't quite game for it, but a little more game for it after talking through it with somebody who knew the area.
And experience with the boat.
Yes, and our experience with the boat. So even though the little anchor thing's here that you can anchor there, we're gonna anchor here. We've gone far enough.
We had a very comfortable night, and there weren't any houses back where we anchored.
And here's where we're anchoring. Okay, here are our tracks from last night. So we stayed pretty close to the same spot, and we were in about 49 feet of water. Well, we were going to stay a full day before we left, but Eric gets antsy and he wanted to leave this morning. So we're leaving. It's either Hunt Cove or Hunt's Cove. On one chart it says Hunt's, on other charts it says Hunt. So anyhow, this is it. As you can see, we can see now as we're just leaving the neck where it's really shallow. And you can see all the way out to the ocean, but it was a very protected anchorage. We stayed solid. It's a much nicer day today than it was yesterday. I'd like to salvage some of that siding. Oh yes, I don't get to remodel things anymore. What are you doing out here? And where's your life jacket? Cool little area. That'd be nice to have a little float plane. There's a red top house. Kevin's family lives there. Morning! Dixon wants to play.
And we are headed off to our next little adventure. Please click like and subscribe if you'd like to be notified of part 3 of our trip south. And thank you for watching.